When I turned down the advances of the boss's daughter, she started harassing me and finally said, "Useless employees get $1,000 a month, tops." I decided to leave and join a rival company. After handing in my resignation, the boss commanded, "Don't take it seriously. Get back here right now." I said to him, "Can you afford to pay me $10 million a year?" Hello, everyone. Welcome to Revenge Office. Today, I'm going to share a new story with you. Let's get started. I'm W. Moore, a 30-year-old company employee. It's been 8 years since I graduated college and joined this company. 3 years ago, a product I developed became a hit, and the company rapidly grew. As the head of the development department, I'm busy, but life is fulfilling. Will, I've gathered the materials. Could you please check them? My subordinate, Robert, hands me a thick file. He's got a few quirks, but he's a motivated guy. Thanks. Hey, you know what? Robert's gossip starts again. What about the boss's daughter? She just joined the company. Even though everyone would know soon enough, Robert was whispering for some reason. Yeah, I know she joined the HR department, right? That's right. I bet HR is having a tough time working with the boss's daughter. Maybe, but I doubt she'll bring personal matters into work. Well, you never know. If it's the boss's daughter, it could happen. President Jones often bragged about his daughter. He was famous for showing her picture to employees who visited his office. But now that she's joined the company, I'm sure he'll keep his personal life separate from work. It's unfair to judge her before she's even started. Let's just stay neutral. Thanks for the materials, by the way, I said, trying to cut off Robert's gossip, and that's when it happened. President Jones walked in, and with him was a tall woman with long hair. I recognized that face. It was the same face as the one in the photo on the president's desk. "Excuse me," at the sound of the president's voice, all the employees stood up and greeted him with, "Good afternoon, sir." "Sorry to interrupt your work. I just wanted to introduce my daughter. Come on, Susan, say hello." "I'm Susan Jones. Starting today, I'll be working in the HR department. Please don't treat me any differently because I'm the boss's daughter. I'd like everyone to treat me normally." "Nice to meet you all." Her father trailed her around for her introduction. Even though she's a working adult, I take back what I said earlier. He's definitely bringing personal matters into the workplace. This doesn't look good for the future. As I listened to Susan's overly sweet voice, dreading what was to come, the two of them approached my desk. "Susan, this is Will, the one who developed that product our company is famous for." "Nice to meet you. I'm Will." "Wow, so someone as young and talented as you developed it. It's such an honor to be working with you. I look forward to it." Susan quit her last job because of issues with her colleagues. With such a cute face and being the boss's daughter, jealousy is bound to happen. "Papa, stop it. That's embarrassing," Susan said, but she didn't seem too unhappy about it. Can't she feel how awkward everyone around her is getting? "So everyone, please be kind to her. I'm counting on you, right, Will?" "Sure, how about we have a welcome party tonight? You go ahead and arrange it." "What?" Robert, suddenly assigned by the president, let out a startled yell. "Tonight? Excuse me, but finding a place on such short notice. Plus, if you tell people the day of, many won't be able to make it. Just say it's an order from the president, and there are plenty of places around. If you try hard enough, you'll find one. It's about having the will to do it. But just do it." "Thanks, Papa. Everyone, I'm looking forward to tonight." After the president and Susan left, Robert, setting aside his work, frantically searched for a place. He even convinced the reluctant staff and gathered more participants. That evening, thanks to Robert's hard work, a decent number of people showed up at a decent venue, and the impromptu welcome party began. Susan gave her speech. "Since I'm the boss's daughter, you might think I'm not good at my job. So just to be clear, I can do my work. I think I'm even better than the others in HR, so please rely on me. Thank you." The room fell silent, and the employees in HR looked tense. Things were on the verge of exploding. At this rate, someone was going to say something. "All right, everyone, let's give her a round of applause." Sensing the tension, Robert tried to liven things up by prompting applause. A few dry claps followed. "Now, Mr. President, could we get a toast? Everyone, grab your glasses." Robert was desperately trying to keep the momentum going. The room was so cold from the air conditioning, but Robert was the only one sweating. Poor guy. Without a care in the world, the president raised his glass. "All right, everyone, let's do our best from now on. Here's to Susan joining the company." Cheers. In the awkward atmosphere, the clinking of glasses echoed hollowly. Once the party got going, people split into small groups, and it seemed like they were having a decent time. I was the first to praise Robert. "You did a great job. Just finding the place and getting everyone together was tough, but starting the party with that awkward vibe, you handled it well." Seriously, when I saw the faces of those HR employees, I broke out in a cold sweat. I thought something's going to go down. Yeah, no kidding. Now it makes sense why she didn't fit in at her last jobs. Exactly. No way that would have gone well. While we were talking, Susan came over. "Would you mind giving me your seat?" she asked Robert. "Oh, sure. Go ahead." "Wait a second. I'm definitely not okay with this." But I couldn't say that, so all I could do was glare resentfully at Robert as he walked away. "I didn't get to do more than say hello earlier, so I hope you don't mind me sitting next to you." Susan took her glass and sat next to me. "Let's have a proper toast." Since Susan was insisting, I had no choice but to pick up my glass and lightly clink it against hers. "So, Will, do you have a girlfriend?" That was pretty sudden. I accidentally said what I was thinking. That's a bit sudden, don't you think? "Well, it's the thing I'm most curious about. So do you have one?" "No, unfortunately, I don't." "That's not unfortunate. That's super lucky for me." "What?" "I'm also single right now. I was just starting to think about finding someone and getting married." "And what does that have to do with me?" "I'm so glad I joined my dad's company. I never imagined I'd meet such a great guy. I think I'll put myself forward as a candidate to be your girlfriend. I'm really looking forward to work tomorrow." "Wait, does she actually like me?" I felt a wave of dread and chugged my beer in one go. As the welcome party wrapped up, people started splitting into groups, some heading to a second party, others to karaoke. Since I had an early morning the next day, I decided to leave after the first party and stepped outside the venue. Then Susan approached me again. "Will, what are you doing after this? Everyone's going to karaoke, but how about the two of us go somewhere quiet for a drink?" "Aren't you going home with your dad?" "I sent Papa home early. This is young people's time now. Come on, let's go." I frantically searched for an excuse to turn her down. I actually have an early morning meeting with a client tomorrow. They insisted on that time, so I can't be late. I need to prepare, so I'm heading home. It was a desperate lie, but Susan didn't seem to doubt me. As expected of Will, always busy. "Well, I guess I'll head home too. There's no point in going to the after party without you. Want to share a taxi?" "No, I'm good. There are still trains running, so I'll take one. Thanks, though. Have a good night." I practically ran away and headed for the station. Man, I'm exhausted, more tired than from work. I got on the train and sat down, feeling the exhaustion hit me all at once. I must have dozed off because I almost missed my stop. I jumped off the train in a panic just in time. The next day, as soon as I arrived at work, Susan came over. "Good morning, Will." "Good morning." I felt a bit awkward having lied to her the day before. Are you free tonight? How about dinner?" "Sorry, I have a meeting with a client tonight." I quickly came up with another lie. "You're really busy both morning and night, Will." "That's too bad, but I'll try again." Saying that, Susan left the room. Seems like the boss's daughter really likes you, Will. What did you do after yesterday? Me? I went to karaoke. You should have come. What did you end up doing? The boss's daughter invited me to a bar, and it took everything I had to turn her down. I looked for you for help, but you were gone, so I had to escape on my own. Sounds like she's really into you. Is that so? Isn't it obvious? I mean, she's pretty enough, so it's not too bad, right? Though let's set aside her personality for now. Her personality? I'm not sure it would be fine if she's just naive and cheerful, but that's more for everyone else's sake than mine. Yeah, I really hope that's the case. But our hopes were in vain, as Susan's personality turned out to be awful. Not only did she slack off at work while using her status as the boss's daughter as a shield, but she also blatantly bullied the female employees who were popular among the male staff. There were even employees who had gone to their supervisors saying they wanted to quit because of her. At first, I wasn't sure if this was just people making assumptions because she was the boss's daughter, but one day I witnessed it myself. Hey, your name's Jennifer, right? You're useless at your job, so why are you busy flirting with the guys? If you've got time for that, you should be working. I stopped in my tracks, hearing her voice coming from the locker room. My dad pays you for your work, not for flirting with men. If you're not going to do your job, you should just quit. You're a nuisance. From the context, I could tell it was Susan speaking. The other person wasn't saying a word, so I wasn't sure who it was. What's with those flashy clothes? Why are you even here? Not that it matters, since they don't suit you at all. Have you even looked in a mirror? She was saying some pretty harsh things, all while ignoring her own behavior. Should I step in and help? Just as I thought that, the locker room door flew open, and Jennifer rushed out. For a brief moment, our eyes met. Her eyes were red and wet with tears. She paused for a moment in surprise, then greeted me and ran off. A few seconds later, Susan came out as if nothing had happened, smiled at me, and said, "Good work today. Lovely weather, isn't it?" Then she walked away. That's when I realized that everything people were saying about Susan was true. But Susan didn't care at all about her reputation. I wondered if she would try to invite me out again today. Lately, she's been asking me to go out for dinner or hang out on weekends almost every day, but I've refused every time. I really wish she'd figure out that it's becoming a nuisance. As the end of the workday approached, Susan came over again. "You have to go out with me. If you turn me down again, I'll really be sad." I silently sighed to myself. If I don't turn her down, clearly this will keep going on forever. I had been holding back because she's the boss's daughter, but I decided to face it head on. "Susan, I'm sorry. Right now, I'm really enjoying my work, and I have no interest in dating anyone. Even if the time comes when I want to, I don't think it will be with you. So I can't see you alone outside of work. I apologize." I said this sincerely and then looked at Susan. Her face had turned bright red with anger, and she was trembling. "I see. I thought you were better than the others in this company, but I guess not. Whatever, I don't care anymore." Still trembling, she said this, then turned sharply and walked away. Robert, who had been watching from a distance, had clearly overheard us. "Will, I think you went too far." She was really mad. This might be bad. "It's better to be clear than to leave things half-hearted," I replied. "I don't know, man. Whatever happens next, don't blame me. Don't say scary stuff like that. Nothing's going to happen, right?" But Robert's concern turned out to be right. The next day, Susan started harassing me. "Will, are you here?" "Yes. This invoice isn't going to be approved." "Why not?" "Why?" "Because I said so." "Is that even a valid reason?" On another day, she said something like this. "Will, did you do something to Jennifer from HR? She's saying she wants to quit, and I saw you making her cry." "Before that was you, wasn't it?" I almost said it, but stopped myself. There's no point in arguing. If she wants to spread rumors or keep up the harassment as payback, she can go ahead. I'll just keep doing my job. But one day, I finally reached my breaking point. Do you really think this kind of high expense will get approved? It's necessary for new initiatives on one of our main products. Please approve it. Don't get cocky just because you developed one product. This company can run just fine without that item. That's why these expenses are necessary, to make it even better. Oh, please, you're probably just using that money to go out drinking, hiding behind the excuse of product development. Sounds like something an incompetent employee would do. I don't think we need someone like you here anymore. I'll keep you around, but with a pay cut. Is that your opinion? My opinion is my dad's opinion. Your salary is now $1,000 a month. Consider it a decision from the president. Understood. With that, I grabbed the resignation letter I had stored in my drawer and headed for the president's office. I knocked on the door. Yes, it's Will. Come in. Excuse me, I'm leaving soon, so keep it short. What do you need? It's about Susan. She's been harassing me for a while now, but today she refused to approve the expenses for product development. On top of that, she called me an incompetent employee and said my salary would be $1,000 a month. As I spoke, the president let out a big yawn. Is that all? Don't take it seriously. It's nonsense. It's not nonsense. This happens almost every day. It's affecting my work. Can you make it stop? Make it stop? You're asking me, the president, to fire my daughter? No, I'm asking you to stop her harassment toward me. It's not just me. A lot of employees are being harassed by her. Susan's been free-spirited since she was a child. That's her charm. Don't take it to heart. Just deal with it. This is useless. He's not listening at all. I thought you were going to say something serious. The product you developed is great, but Susan isn't entirely wrong either, is she? The president tossed those words at me and left the room. After watching him walk out, I placed my resignation letter on the desk. As always, Susan's photo was still displayed prominently on his desk. I didn't need to put up with this anymore. The truth is, for the past 6 months, a rival company had been trying to recruit me. The offer was far better than my current situation, a $10 million annual salary. The offer had tempted me, but I hesitated, feeling like I'd be betraying the colleagues I'd helped grow the company with. But today I made up my mind. I was done staying at a company run by that father and daughter. Will, calm down. I am calm. Please don't quit. Sorry, but I've reached my limit. As I left the office, Robert, along with some other managers, colleagues, and subordinates, tried to stop me, but my decision was firm. The next day, I headed out to visit the rival company that had been recruiting me. Just then, my phone rang. The screen showed the president. He must have seen my resignation letter on his desk this morning and panicked. I thought about hanging up immediately, but figured that would be childish, so I answered. Hello. Will, what is this? Are you talking about what was on your desk? Yes. What is this? Even though he was asking, it was obvious. As you can see, it's my resignation letter. I know that. Why are you quitting? I believe I explained it to you yesterday. I heard Susan said some things, but I told you not to take it seriously, didn't I? Whether it was a lie or the truth, it doesn't matter. I'm just fed up with this company. So, I'm quitting. You know what will happen to the company if you leave, right? We'll lose most of our revenue, product improvements will stall, and launching new products will be a struggle. Stop talking nonsense and come back right now. The president's words were all over the place, but he was desperately trying to stop me. You're the one talking nonsense. What are you saying now? After all this, I'm not coming back. If you go to that other company, they'll just use you. I'm going there to make sure they don't use me. They'll make you promises, reel you in with sweet words, and then leave you hanging. You'll end up being used cheaply in the end. The president wasn't backing down easily. They're offering me $10 million a year. I could sense him freezing on the other end of the line. That's right. The offer is $10 million annually, guaranteed every year. How about it? Can you match that? If you can, I'll consider staying. The president was silent for a while. I need to go. I'm headed to the other company. Thank you for everything. Wait. Okay, I'll pay the $10 million. We'll make it happen. Just come back. Every year from now on. That's going to be tough, isn't it? Every year, yes. I promise. His response wasn't very confident, but I'd make sure to get it in writing. Understood. So you'll come back? Great. Then get back here immediately. I quickly added another condition. If he thought money was the only issue, he was sorely mistaken. No, there's one more condition I need you to agree to. Isn't $10 million enough for you? Are you seriously demanding even more now? The president's voice had a definite edge of anger. Yes, if you don't agree, I won't come back. You've got some nerve. Fine. What is it? Spit it out. I want your daughter, Susan, to be placed under my supervision. Susan under you? Yes, as my direct subordinate, and that's permanent. She'll never outrank me. So as long as Susan is at this company, she'll remain your subordinate. Exactly, and if she doesn't follow my direction, I'll leave for good this time, no matter what you say to stop me. The president fell silent again. If that's too much, then let's forget about me returning. I'll be on my way. Wait, please wait. I really need to talk to Susan about this first. Is that necessary? You're the president. You just need to give the order. If you can't do that, then excuse me. Fine, I'll do as you say. Susan will be your subordinate. I'll make sure she listens to you. The president reluctantly agreed to everything, and so I returned to my old position. I visited the rival company to politely decline their offer, and when I arrived a bit late for work, everyone welcomed me back. You were going to leave me behind. That's so unfair. Robert was almost in tears. I came back, didn't I? I was so anxious I couldn't even sleep, wondering what I'd do next. Come to think of it, there was an earthquake around 1 a.m. There was. I didn't even notice. You were asleep, weren't you? Well, yeah, but more importantly, why did you come back? Did the president convince you? Yeah, I laid out a few conditions, though. What kind of conditions? I'm not telling you that, but I'll give you one hint. The president's daughter will be working here, in this department. That's right. Seriously? No way. I don't want to work with someone like her. Why did you make that a condition? Don't worry. She'll be under me, so I won't let her do whatever she wants. I see. That's why you made that condition. Still, I'm a little nervous. And so, from that day on, Susan started working as my subordinate. Send this out in the company email. What? Why don't you just do it yourself? What was that? When I glared at her, Susan quickly changed her tone. Oh, nothing. I'll take care of it. It looked like the president had a proper talk with her. Get these materials together by the end of the day. Once you're done, have Robert check them. I don't think I need anyone to check my work. I can do it perfectly, probably better than Robert. Robert, who was nearby, rolled his eyes. I'm the one giving you the instructions here. When I said that, Robert nodded exaggeratedly, agreeing. Understood, Susan replied reluctantly. I didn't hold back in assigning tasks to Susan. She was definitely, kept quite busy with all the work. Susan didn't have time to bully anyone, and gradually she started to settle down. The atmosphere in the office was slowly returning to peace. Jennifer, who had run out of the locker room in tears that day, still works in HR and didn't quit. We chat from time to time, and I'm glad to see her smile has returned. Today is our year-end party. It's been a while since I've had drinks with everyone. Will, thank you so much. For what? It's nothing, really. I just feel like the office has become a brighter place. That's not because of me, is it? Is that so? I heard a rumor about the conditions you set for coming back. I glared at Robert, who was sitting in front of me. He deliberately looked away, picked up his glass, and walked off. I was wondering why you would set such a condition. I mean, it just makes things harder for you, right? I would never do that. But lately I've realized it was for everyone else, wasn't it? Is that what you think? Yeah, everyone's smiling now. The whole atmosphere in the company has changed. So thank you. I see. If that's how it is, then I'm glad. I guess I'll cut Robert some slack for his gossiping. The company continued to thrive, probably because the workplace had become brighter and it was easier to get things done. I got promoted to section manager, and my subordinates were busier than ever. This is due today, right? And that one's for tomorrow. I've already completed the tasks you assigned yesterday. Susan looked busier than anyone, but it was all for the sake of the company's peace and success. She'd have to keep up the hard work, and honestly, she had a much better attitude now than when she first joined.